In today's episode, I'm going to give you an update on where we've been over the last few months, what our plans are for 2024, and just what we have going on around business and life. And if you want to check out our sponsor, Jobber, we've been using Jobber now for over 4+ years in our business. We use it to schedule customers, to keep track of customers' information. Employees clock in and out. We send out automated appointment reminders. Basically, everything we need to do goes through Jobber. If you want to get a free 14-day trial plus a special discount, click the link in the show notes to give it a try. And welcome back to a new episode. It's been now a few months since I published the last episode. So we're kind of moving into now, I wouldn't call it season 2 because I posted like 160 plus podcast episodes. So unless we want to call that season 1, we're going to move on to season 2 of another 160 episodes. So in this episode, I'm just going to catch you up on what we've been doing, where we are. And now since it is mid or almost mid-December, meaning it's only but a few days or a few weeks until 2024 rolls in, I'll kind of give you a very high-level overview of where we're going. And then moving forward, I'll start having episodes with obviously myself and then Lex and Angel, and we'll kind of fill you in and go into more detail about what I'll lightly cover here in this episode. So number one is we have been a lot more focused, and not just focused, but I feel like, and the timing is kind of fit perfectly where we introduced vinyl wrapping, not introduced in terms of we had the idea to like maybe offer the service, and that was January of this year. And now moving into January, in 2 weeks now, is I feel like we're in a completely different mindset and skill sets with vinyl wrapping, and now here soon PPF. So this year, thankfully we started in January with trying to pick up a new skill and trying to develop this new service and figuring out what works and what pricing, whatever. And now moving into the next year, we're already of the mindset of like, yeah, we want to get more of these customers. We're already running ads for paint correction and vinyl wraps, but now it's like we're now that we have the skill set and we have a much better understanding, and we have 2 full wraps under our belt now, plus some PPF work, we can now really go into 2024 saying, hey, like this is what we want to do. We still have a lot to learn. Don't get me wrong. There's still a ton of things that we have to get better at. But as far as laying down the foundation, that's set. Now we actually have to push forward and gain some momentum. Because 2023, in respects to PPF vinyl wrapping, it was how do we do it? What is film? How do we wrap? Where do we learn? What is the lingo? What is the pricing? It was just learning the most basic fundamentals of the service. And now with Angel he technically has 4 vehicles underneath his belt. It's a full wrap on Lexus 350Z, a full wrap on his Charger RT, a full wrap on an Infiniti Q50S, and a full wrap on a Hyundai Kona, and then a front PPF on a Audi A6. And on top of that, like just constantly learning and practicing and watching videos and going to get trained, we are in a much better position of skill level and knowledge to really pick up the pace and pick up the momentum going into next year. So this year was learning. Next year is, I don't know, growing or just moving faster. So that's an exciting part. The one thing that we kind of came to think about was what PPF. If you'd have to rank them, it'd probably be like PPF is probably the most difficult, then vinyl wrapping, and then tint. And I think, not that we made a mistake, but looking back, I think if you wanted to get introduced into film, tint would have probably been the easiest. But we are also talking about offering tint. I'm still waiting on that a little bit just because I want to make sure that we have the vinyl wrapping and PPF services. Like, I said we're good and we're not learning. It's more of like, actually growing. But there's still a lot of us, a lot for us to learn. So I don't want to just throw in tint, although I know it would work because one, we already turned down a lot of customers. Even the Audi and that got the PPF and the Kona that we wrapped, that they paid us $3,200 and $2,000. They were asking if we do tint because they're gonna go get it tinted as well. And that's just a few examples of the many Lex has turned down because we don't actually offer tint. That we had another customer but he came in as a walk-in for a full wrap, And he was like, okay, thanks for the information. I'm gonna go get my car. I want to get my windows tinted first, and then I want to get it wrapped. We haven't heard back from him, but it's like it's one of those things like, oh, you want your windows tinted? We could do it here. Oh, by the way, do you want to bundle it with vinyl wrap and you can get X percentage and book the whole thing in? So already like we have missed a lot of opportunities with tint. And I know for sure if we go down the tint route, it's not going to take us a long time to pick it up because especially Angel, he has a lot of experience now with film, with obviously the varying types of film for vinyl and then PPF. So now like, tinting obviously has its own set of, its learning curve and such. But I mean, comparing tinting glass, which is typically just flat, and maybe your tint, your like maybe like a Tesla, where it gets a bit more difficult. But for the most part, it is just flat tint versus like, wrapping a front bumper, whether it's vinyl or PPF. Like that's a completely different type of understanding the film and laying it down. Like those are two completely different things. So I feel like if we move into tint, like we'll pick it up a lot faster now that we have the experience and skill of working with other different types of film. So next year for sure, we are going to go head first into let's get more vinyl wrap, PPF, correction, and coating jobs on the board. Next is with mobile. Just naturally how things have worked, we have not been doing that much mobile detailing anymore. By not that much, I mean over the last 3 months, we've probably done a mobile job like 4 times, maybe. So Lex and I are talking about selling the mobile van, just because it's not being used. And like I think there's like $4,500 left on the car note, and then you pay insurance, right? So for a second, Lex and I were like, well, like should we just like keep it? Like let's just pay the other $4,500 off, and like let's just pay insurance, and I don't know, we'll just have a van. And but it's like, well, what are we gonna use it for? If we don't use it, we're spending time moving it in and out. We have to pay for insurance, and it's just sitting there doing nothing, right? And there's always a thought of like, should we get a mobile crew? And again, we've Lex and I we're at the point where like we had a mobile crew for the van, like they just did mobile detailing, and I don't think that's something that I want. At least at this point, that's not a route I want to go through. Because if you look at the opportunity cost between sending a mobile van out versus being at the shop, it's a night and day difference. Like I tried to keep the mobile van going as far as like, hey, let's keep it just in case, this and that, or maybe during the spring rush, like, we'll have the mobile and shop unit running. But when you really like, again, that's why it's so important to understand the kind of business that you want. Like to hire someone, to train someone, to make sure that the mobile schedule is running well, that the equipment, the maintenance on the van, all those things, like it would work. But again, if you compare, okay, booking jobs, booking a full day of work at the shop versus booking a full day as on the mobile unit, they're two completely different things. And there's just so much more that can go wrong with the mobile van. That or not, and not even wrong, but things that you have to account for versus a shop. That it's just like, well, do we want to spend that energy and time to get this going when we could spend half that amount of time and energy at the shop, book out more, and still make more money? So that's something that we're in the talks of whether we should or not. I personally like, and I'm always telling them, I was like, dang, like being at the shop is cool, but man, like being mobile, it's such a better experience. As far as like at the shop, everything is great. It's just kind of mundane because it's just you're in the same 4 walls every single time. Like the cool thing about mobile detailing is that you're always moving around. You're always doing something. You're always somewhere new. You're always, it's just cool to move around. That's like a fun part about mobile detailing. Like a lot of people will say that like it's fun to be moving around. But with that in mind, it's like, man, it's still a big difference between trying to go mobile because it's like fun versus like being optimized and efficient at the shop. You cannot compare the two. So that is something that we are talking about. Whether it's we start up another mobile unit down in the future, or maybe I just kind of change my content a bit and I'll kind of collaborate with some local detailers, more so like detail breakdowns where I'll go out with them and I'll just kind of review what they're doing and what they can improve on and what they need help with. Like that'd be kind of cool. I think. If any of you watch Mike Andis, he does that with landscaping, business turnaround, I think it's called. But and I wouldn't do it to that extent. But just it'd be cool to go and talk to another detailer, understand where they are, what are their problems, go out to a mobile job site, see what they do, and just lend my, 2 cents on like what they can do to improve to better customer service or experience or better skills or being more efficient, whatever. I think that'd be pretty cool too. So it's not like I would remove we would remove the mobile, compartment from here in our business, but I would still like to be out there in the field with another detailer, just because like that is like a, and honestly, like it's one of those, like mobile detailing has been a part of me for the last 10 plus years. So to even think about like letting the van go, it's like, it's kind of like an identity of mine of like, well, that's what I like. That's a straight connection to like my life for the last 10 plus years. So to just let it go, even if we're not mobile detailing for the last 3 months now, it's still like, wait, hold on. Maybe we can hold on. Don't just sell it. Hold on. Let's think about this, because it's like, it's really wrapped up into like what I've been doing for the last 10 plus years. I mean, just scroll down on my YouTube videos, and you just see me and the HHR, alone. And then you can kind of progress through the videos and hire someone and get a bigger van and then Lex and then the shop and yada, yada, yada. So there's definitely that part as well. On the personal side, there is one thing that I have been doing a lot more, and that's definitely more into motorsports. So we have in my office, because that's the last place that I had to put it, is a sim rig, a racing sim. So we have a fully built out. The hardest part about that was building out the PC, because I know nothing about building PCs. So I forget. I had some advice from I keep forgetting his name, Cardos on Instagram. He gave me some advice, and then it just doing all the research to seeing what I needed. So I only knew enough for me to actually do what I needed to do. Like I couldn't tell you not one other thing if someone was asking me about building their own PC. It's like, bro, I know just enough to build my PC and get it running. And even then, like, yeah, it was a little frustrating. So I was like, I don't know. No, I just learned just enough to like put it all together. As far as building the actual PC, the sim itself, that was pretty easy. It's all basically through Fanatec. I do have a video on my Detail Group channel where I kind of go over the sim. It's a real quick clip. It's not like a long thing, but that is one thing that for sure. This year in 2023, we attended 3 races. It was the IndyCar in Nashville. It was the F1 in Austin, and then it was the Petit Le Mans in Atlanta. So those are 3 races. So next year, that is something that I do want to do more of. Is I think for sure that tickets that we already have purchased is the 24 hours of Daytona in Daytona. It is the 6 hours World Endurance Championship race in Austin at COTA. I believe we're going to go to the F1 race again in Austin, except I think we're only going to do qualifying for that one. We'll be doing the IndyCar in Alabama, the Children's of Alabama Grand Prix. That one looks really fun. I really want to do Road to America and Laguna Seca in California as well. And I'm sure there's other races, but those are like some that like I really want to go to. So we'll be attending a lot more races as well. In my head, I would also like to think and finally execute of if we drive out to Daytona, right? For it's like a 14-hour drive, but it'd be so cool to like stop 1 or 2 places to interview, talk with, do something with another detailer as far as like, oh, let's do a podcast. Oh, let's do that one. Like, let me just like talk to you and record it on video and break down your business and whatever. Something like that. That'd be really cool. Another race I want to go to is Portland. That's one I really want to do Portland. Not so much the race itself, but I want to, obviously the Pacific Northwest has like some of the best scenery as far as scenic anything. Cause obviously, going east, there's nothing. It's like it's pretty boring. But going west, that's where you have all the crazy scenic routes and everything. So I'd want to drive. It's a day drive, but I do want to drive out that way because you just can't beat like that entire route over there through Arizona, through Colorado, through wherever else. Because we're also doing, I'm trying to get into overlanding. The problem with here in Houston is that like everything is flat. You don't have, there's a few spots here and there, but like it's not the same if you lived in Colorado, in Utah, in Arizona, in somewhere where it's somewhere in the west side, right? Like here in Houston, like well, a few spots around here in Texas, um, especially not in Houston, like you have to actually drive and just to get out of Texas is like 7-8 hours. So anywhere west is gonna be like a pretty big trouble because we're so far south. And Texas is so big, like driving 8 hours, you're barely leaving Texas. So that's something that I'm going to think about as well. As far as the products go or things that we have, right now we have Proper Care. If you haven't seen it, because I haven't been posting that much content on Proper Care, but that's something that we're going to move into as well. We have the Proper Care products. So right now we have the all-purpose cleaner in gallon size. We have the plastic and rubber dressing in gallon and 16 ounce. We have a glass cleaner and a car soap, all in gallon and 16 ounce. And the only one that doesn't have a 16 ounce is the all-purpose cleaner. And then we have several shirt designs and a hat. So on that one, we are gonna, especially 2024, we're definitely gonna push into more content. A big part of this year again was just trying to get the whole PPF vinyl wrapping thing down. There is another side project that I started that I'll reveal everything inside the online course SEO for Detailers, where I started a new website to generate leads for our detailing business, but with a new website. So that's something I started, and I'll explain more later. But the goal of that website is just to generate leads for PPF, vinyl wrapping, correction and coatings, and tint. So what's cool is I think it's been like 40 days, and we've already generated 2 leads from there. Like they filled out the form, and it's only been like 30 days, 40 days maybe. So again, I'm gonna put all the details into that inside SEO for Detailers, but I'll give you the high level overview of what's going on with that website. But I'll share that later down the road. That way, it can just do its work, and I'll be working behind the scenes. Next is inside another course, Detailing as a Business. I'm doing a major update on the Instagram marketing module. So this one, and this is actually something that I struggled with for a little bit, where I wanted to create an Instagram marketing module training, but I was like, okay, how do I conform this content to fit detailers? Because yes, the main goal is to generate leads. But then it's like, well, but if you understand content and you're really intentional about becoming a content creator, you can generate more income streams than just detailing if you do everything strategically and proper. And I was like, well, if they do, if you really become a content creator, you can really capitalize and you can have other revenue sources, like maybe Amazon affiliates, maybe it's offering classes, maybe it's offering merch, product, whatever. It's like, so instead of trying to conform the knowledge and like fit it to do this one thing of like generating leads, I was like, I'm just going to share everything in this course, because it's like moving forward, not even moving forward, now, today in 2023, every business and person is a content creator. Right? Like that is the new thing, right? 4 years ago, social media was not how it is now. Like now everyone, and moving forward, everyone, every brand, every person is going to be a content creator to some degree, right? So it's like, that's another thing of like, if you want to, be with today's times and you want to capitalize on social media and you want to post on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube, I'm counting that as a separate platform because it's a lot different and takes a lot more work than TikTok and Instagram. But it's like, if you want to stay with today's times and make sure you're still in the groove of things, like you have to become a content creator, and you have to really be intentional and deliberate about the kind of content that you create, and the opportunities that come from creating content and actually generating views and clicks. Like it can really change the trajectory of your business. Like not just generating more leads, but again, that could be other sponsorship deals. That could be you selling your own product, or another service. That could be, whatever the case may be. And that allows you to generate another source of income, like from what you're already doing with detailing. If you know how to create content, if you know how to garner views, if you know how to monetize that, like instead of just detailing customers' vehicles, on top of what you're already doing, like nothing's changing, but you know how to create content, you can now have a second revenue stream in your business, like for yourself, that makes you money with what you already have. So that Instagram training module is just going to cover that. It's all right, like, this is what I've been doing for the last 4 years. Here's all the advice that I have that's applicable to how to actually get views, build the audience, and generate leads for your business, obviously. But then also like, here's how that leads to other income streams for your business as well. So I'm going to keep this one short. It was just like an introductory. Hey, hello, we're back. We're going to be putting out great content. 2024 is right around the corner. So let me know what you would want me to cover in this episode. I get plenty of DMs with topics, but if you ever have an idea or question, send me a DM. I might not reply. I most likely won't reply, but I will read it. And if it's a good question, if it's something I haven't covered, I will cover it in a podcast episode or in a YouTube video or in a Instagram story or in an email. So if you have ever had a question, send it to me because I do read most of them. Actually, I do read pretty much all of them. And then that kind of helps me develop ideas for content across all different platforms. So that's going to end it right here. I'll talk to you guys on the next one.